Hello, everyone. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where and when you're watching this from. Welcome to Splendor Analytics Academy. Here we'll teach you everything data analysis and see that we become good in what we do and in the profession. So today we'll be looking at a Power BI report on a logistic company, and we'll try to build our work with show how we can build this report. Now, before we go there, I just want to show you a replica of what we are likely going to be creating. It's a 3-page report detailing shipments that have been completed, those that are waiting that are still in process, transit, are those that have not been completed, and it's interactive. So let me just walk you through. If you want to take a quick read at the report, you could just look at this place where it says click here to read report, and then you will see the report. Okay, and you can close it. Of course, you can move around between pages. This is the page one where we have all of these, and then we have a parameter here that works with all these charts to indicate where you have just monitor or track shipments that are yet to be completed, and this also track shipments that have been completed. Now, the second page focuses on the mode of shipping these goods across the various destinations. So you have the jets, you have the buses, you have lorry, and then you have motorbike. So this covers the priority of each of the shipments, and we also looked at it across various cities. Also, if you look at here, you will see that there's also a slider here that also indicates, make it interactive to show you where a report, if you want to just narrow down the report to just completed, and to also track the ones that are in progress. This will help the company track their activities and operations, and where necessary, make the necessary adjustment. Of course, this is the table view, focuses on just understanding customer experience, their satisfaction, how they rate the services, and over here, of course, you have just link to, you can have your link here, maybe your Twitter handle, you can link them here. So if I click on any of this, it will open up the profile for me. So let's go back to the report and let's go back to the overview page. So basically, this is what we're creating together. So I'd like you to join me on this journey. But while at that, please, if you are new on this channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and put on the notification button in case we drop any new video. You can be one of the first persons to get that. And while at it also, you want to check the videos we already have on the platform. You want to look at we have a lot of SQL videos and Power BI projects. So we walk you through this project, and while at that also, you can check other videos that we already have on the platform. And yes, I cannot guarantee that this project will be completed in one video. So more reason you need to put on your notification, because you may likely not finish this in one video. I have to break the videos into smaller chunks for ease of understanding, if that makes sense. All right, work with me. So before we do that, this is my Power BI desktop, of course. But then what we want to do is we want to look at the project and the project brief to understand what we've been asked to do. So if I come here, you're going to see the project brief, and this will be shared with us in the description section, so you can have a look at it. Basically, what we've been asked to do as a data analyst, you have been employed to perform comprehensive analysis on the company's logistic operations spanning from 2020 to 2024, and the task is to uncover insights that will help decision makers. Basically, that's what we do as data analysts, to help make data-driven decisions. Okay, so to understand the underlying cause of various issues that may be having and how to support improvement of the logistic operation. So this is the basic like the entire project brief, and if you look through, you will see the project objective: perform complete, quantify completed and in progress shipment across multiple transport modes, evaluate shipment value trend and the financial performance of logistic services, analyze shipment efficiency and delivery performance across key regions, measure customer satisfaction level, identify drivers of positive or negative experience, and examine the impact of shipment delay on payment status and rating. Right? Now, recommend improvements to enhance shipment delivery and all of that. So we have a data description. Now, the reason why I brought us here and the delivery is, of course, we have to have a Power BI report or a presentation report. Of course, here we'll be focusing on Power BI. We don't have time to do anything on PowerPoint presentation. For stakeholders also want to have some summary of our insights and recommendation documents available. You also want to have executive summary slide deck, which is same thing as presentation, but then we're going to be focusing on Power BI report. Now, we can take out the time to understand all of this. The reason why I'm a bit faster is because I've already done this project, right? I've done it before, so I have an understanding of what the business problem is and what is expected of me to do. So you may want to take out your time to read and understand the business problem, the goal of your analysis, because if you don't understand that, you may likely be analyzing and miss if that English is wrong correct, and if it's going to use that within this context. So you take out time to read all of that, and yes, so we can jump straight into Power BI. And this is my Power BI desktop. Of course, I want to believe you are watching this video, you probably use Power BI at some point, or you are just hoping to enhance your skill in Power BI. So I'm going to come to get data. I think my data is either in Excel or CSV. I think it will be in CSV. So I'll get data and then come here. You can use the more options. So get data, and I'm going to get CSV, and it's somewhere here. This is actually the data, and this is the data set. I'm just going to open it off and enter. Of course, while we are waiting for it to load, 10 out of every 10 times, I would always tell someone, after previewing your data set here, you want to, right? You want to transform data. That is like the first thing you want to do. You want to transform data, and in transforming your data, this data set is relatively clean, right? It's relatively clean, not too dirty per se. So because of course we're not looking at data and transformation, or do a few adjustments just to be sure that our data is correct. So one of those few things we want to look out for is the data types that have been assigned to each of these columns by Power BI. So I would look at them. Of course, this is date, this is order date, delivery date, and if I'm looking at my column distribution and column quality, they are okay. So we just quickly take a glance. So while we're taking a glance, we're also looking at the possible things that type of data that we have within in our data set, rather looking at each of the column. If we go back to the project group, there's a breakdown of each of what is contained in each of the columns. Okay, so you can please take out and read that, but we may not be able to do that in this video, right? So we have the country. I think we'll have to split this into two to get the delivery city and delivery country. So this are one of the few information I will do here. We'll have the shipment rate, shipment delivery time, location, cost, shipment cost per weight, loading weights. We may not be doing anything around cost. You would have just get this and this to multiply these two, and then you get the cost. Okay, so I'm just going to, the transformation we'll be doing will just basically be around what we will be using as for this analysis rather. So shipment type, shipment cost, custom type, customer type, payment status, shipment value, the priority, shipment priority. We have carrier performance rating. We also have delivery window, and then we have customer satisfaction score. So like the first thing we notice is this. We just quickly want to go back to our delivery location, and we just click this, right click here and split the column using the delimiter, which is comma, right? Comma, that's the delimiter, and then I'll say yes, just split across each occurrence, and this will split it down. So I will rename this and I'll call it delivery city instead of location city. I'll call this delivery city, and then I'll call this delivery country. Okay, so basically that is like the only major transformation there is here. I think another thing I want to do is that for this satisfaction score, this rating score and this satisfaction score, I think I want to categorize this into different categories. I'm going to try to categorize this into 3 categories, and then I'll categorize this one into 5 categories. They're all called 5-point bracket scale if you are doing research and all of that. So yeah, I'll be doing that in Power Query editor before taking it to my Power BI desktop. So I'll be using the end language. I'll just do custom column and then do that here before we head to Power Query. So I'll come to add column, and then I'll do this custom column. And for this, since we are looking at rating first, I'm going to call it carrier. I think that's the name, carrier. Like which carrier? Thank you. Carrier performance. I'm going to call this carrier performance category. I will just put cat, or just make it full category, and see if we can write the function. And I'm going to say if we have carrier performance rating, and then I'll insert it if this is greater than or equal to 1, and the same column name, the same variable if it is less than or equal to 2, then we will call it low rating. Call it low rating. Okay, and else if the same stuff is greater than, so I'll just copy it here. So avoid, I'll just copy this and say if this is now, this time around I want to say, okay, if it is greater than 3, or equal to 3, greater than or equal to 3, I want to call it medium rating. It would make sense. Yeah, medium rating. I'm trying to look at my logic to see if what we are doing is okay. If this, so from anything less than, greater than 1, I'm not sure there's any rating less than 1. So from 1, between 1 and 2, so we have them as low rating. We can have 3 and 4 to be medium rating, or 3 equal to 3, greater than 2 but equal to 3. So I would say, yeah, greater than 2, and it's equal to 3, greater than 2 but equal to 3. Then I want to call it medium rating, and else just call every other thing that is not there, just call it high rating, and this should give us our logic. Yeah, so this should give us, then I'll click on OK. Of course, already saying that I have this, and I also want to categorize this, so I'll do the same thing. I'll do custom, and then I'll call this customer satisfaction category, and this, we're going to have 5 categories this time around, and I'm going to say if the customer satisfaction category, which is, I think it's somewhere customer satisfaction score, double click, and then I would say if it is greater than 1, it's greater than or equal to 1, and it is less than or equal to 2, then I want to call this very satisfied. Since we're going to be repeating the same thing, I'll just copy this and bring it down here for time, and I'll just add the else here. Else if this is greater than 3 or less than or equal to 4, less than or equal to 4, then I want to call it dissatisfied. Okay, so let me copy this again and do the same thing here. If this is greater than 5, right, but less than or equal to 6, I want to call it neutral, right? Another satisfied, not dissatisfied, so I'm going to call it neutral, spelled this way. And then the same thing I'll do here. If this is else, if the same stuff is greater than 7, let's do it greater than 7 but less than or equal to 8, I want to call it satisfied. And the last one, I'm just going to say else, just call it very satisfied. Okay, no syntax error. Okay, so that is done, and then we'll have to move. Now this is a wide file, right? Now the next thing I want to do is what I will call data normalization, where I will split my data into facts and dimensions table. So we'll split our data into facts and dimensions table. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll look through our data and identify possible dimensions table that we can have here. And I think we are going to have shipment status. We're going to have that under shipments, right? We're going to have shipment mode. I think we also have carrier. Okay, just so you know what is a dimension, what is the fact table, and what is the dimension table, right? I know you might have been asking that, but then let me quickly explain for the benefit of those who don't know what it is. Okay, so while normalizing your data, and the major reason why you want to normalize the data is to reduce redundancy, right? So what you want to do, you want to separate your tables into related tables, right? You want to normalize them into related tables. This will help reduce redundancy. It will help enhance your data integrity. I think it will also help improve performance, right? And it will support scalability. So when you are building a model and you want to be sure that the model is scalable, right? So this will help it, and it will simplify maintenance when you want to maintain it. So one of the rules of data modeling is that we keep it simplified, flexible, and scalable, right? Give it the opportunity to be able to get in more data. As data keep growing, it keeps scaling alongside it. So basically, that's why you need to normalize the data, right? And so what we'll do is we'll just go through this data and separate our fact and dimensions table. Now, I'm going to explain that what is a fact table, what is a dimension table. Now, a fact table is supposed to store your transactional data, or in this case, the quantitative data, right? Things that can be counted, that can be aggregated, that you can sum, and all of that should be within the fact table. Also, sometimes it will contain your date columns and all of that, right? And a lot of other foreign keys. Okay, so basically what you have in your fact table is your transactional data or your numeric data that you can perform aggregation on, right? Just you can count, you can sum them, you can aggregate them, and all of that. And while your dimensional, so let me come back. Your fact table should contain your transactional data, right, and the foreign keys of your dimensions table, right, upon which you can create that relationship. And I'm sure most of us know the difference between a primary key, a foreign key, and other keys that we have. This may not be, this video may not capture all of that, so you may want to just read on them if you don't already know them. Okay, so the dimensions table will just contain or store your descriptive data. Okay, basically that's what they do, store your descriptive data to provide context to your fact table, if that makes sense. Okay, so to do that, I would have to do that. I would duplicate this. I think we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so dimensions table. I'll just duplicate this one and duplicate this the second time, duplicate this maybe another time, third time, duplicate this. I think let me delete this. Let me delete this first. Okay, let me delete this. Then let me duplicate this again. Then I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing, but then let me duplicate this. This is 3, and I'll duplicate this. I think about 5 or 6 dimensions table, and I'll do this. Let's just stay at 5. Okay, let's just stay at 5. So what I will do is I want to rename this, and I'm going to call this. I'm going to rename it, and I will call it dimension. And I think I want to have carrier, or let's have shipment first. But then let's do carrier, and then I'm going to call it dimensions carrier, and I'm just going to click enter. The second one I want to have is dimension dim customer. It's just dimensions table, just so you know that the dimensions table is just want to put the first 3 letters dim to just show that to the dimensions table. I also want to have, I think I want to have location. I want to have location separate, location, and I also want to have payment information separate, payment, and here I want to have let me just call this shipment. Let this contain my shipment information. I'll just say shipment. So shipment, and I have one more duplicate, and I will do this. I would say duplicate this, and I want this to be called I want this to be called dim shipping mode. Now the reason why I am not, just so you know, the reason why I am not going through all of this is because I have done this before, so I understand I'm pretty much aware of what I have in the data set. So I might be repeating this over and over, so you don't feel like get lost at any point. It's because I have done this before, and I just want us to try and move as fast as we can, so we don't have this video happening multiple times. Like I said, we may not be able to finish everything here, but I'll try my possible best to ensure that we cover a lot. Okay, so here now, remember that I said my dimension table will contain descriptive data that gives context to my facts table, right? Now I want to how do I then get my dimension table? First, I want to create hierarchy, and then bring the ones that are what's it called now? related together, group them together in one place. So having done this, I'll just come to home. There's a lot of way you can do it. I can just come to this career. I think that's the only information there. I can come to the career and I will just select this and delete all, right? Select this and delete all. But no, let me do this. Let me come to choose columns and choose column, and then gives me this dialog box gives me an overview of the entirety of my columns. So if I come here, the first thing I said I want to do is career name. Okay, there's one here, and I think we have the satisfaction that I did the other time. I think I want to bring it here. So I'll do career satisfaction, and I think that's about this is customer performance category service rating. I'm going to leave this in my fact table with the numeric data with the category that I want to take, and then I'll do okay, and I have this. So I'm going to use this column, and I'm just going to remove duplicate from here because the fact table should not contain duplicate, right? I'm just going to remove duplicate from here. I think there's a problem. Okay, so let me take this back, and I just want to break this down into smaller categories so I don't have issues at the end of the day. Okay, so what I will do is I will take all this as well and I'll separate it into a different dimensions table. Maybe wondering why. I just need to break it down into smaller units where I don't have. So let me delete this. Let me remove this column first, and then let me remove duplicate from here. And I'm just going to say remove duplicate, and I'm going to have about 9 unique values, 9 distinct value. Now, if you notice there is no primary key, so I'm going to add an index column, sometimes called the surrogate key, to give an identity to each of the record I have in this table. So I'm going to call this career ID, and I'm just going to hit enter. Okay, so I'm going to have to duplicate this again. Are you sure you want to delete? I'm not deleting. Oh, I want to duplicate. Thank God. Okay, so I'll just drag this up here, and then I'll call this game career rating tax. Let me just call it that way. Category, or maybe write it through category. And here I just want one thing, and it is the category that I did here, categorization that I did there, and I'm going to just click here. And now instead of using choose, I know it's just one. I will just do this and remove other columns. Then do the same thing that we did, remove duplicates, right? And then add an index column. Start from 1. If I start from 0 or customize it, I will then call this career let me just call car path ID. Okay, path category ID. I'm just going to make this now because I'm not performing any navigation on this, and it's my primary key. I'll convert this from numeric to text. I think I did the same for here, so I'll do the same here as well, from this to text. And yeah, so basically 2 gone. Okay, let's do this. Customer, what I want to have in my customer table is going to be let me check. Come here, choose column, and what do we have that is related to customer? I think I just want to have where is it? I think we have just the customer type. I want to leave the rating, I want to leave the satisfaction score inside even the category, the customer satisfaction category. I think I'll have a different dimensions table for that, and then I'll do this and remove duplicates here. I remove duplicates, and there are 3 business type, and then I'm just going to add index column. So basically that's what we'll do all through. So I'm just going to try to be fast about it. I'm just going to call this customer ID, and then that. So I may now have to explain over and over again. So just bear with me. I will just be a little bit faster since I've given you an idea of what I'm doing. And yeah, so I'm just going to do this customer this, and then I'm going to remove other columns. I'm going to remove duplicate from here, and I'm going to call this add an index column, and I'm going to call this course start category ID. Yeah, do the same thing. So if you're watching, just be patient. I wouldn't want to just break video. So just be patient. And if you already know how to do this, why not? You can just watch. You might learn one or two things additional to what you already know. So I'm going to call this customer satisfaction category. Okay. Here is location. I think my location is also just one. I'm just going to look for location is 2. Okay. So I'll do this. Home, and come look for location, choose column, and I'm gonna have okay, delivery city and delivery country. I'm going to remove duplicate from delivery city, and I'm going to give it a surrogate key, an index column, right? And do this, and I'm going to do this to text. There are 2 countries, Ghana. There are several. There are 9 cities, right? So this is done. For this payment, of course, payment is just one as well. Payment status. So I'm going to look for it here. Or you choose column anyone. I think I prefer to choose column option. Okay. So choose column and check everything. I'm going to check payment status and do this. And this, I'm going to remove duplicate. I'm going to add an index column, and then I'm going to call this payments ID. Payment ID, and yeah, we're progressing. So I'm going to call this payment ID for shipment. For shipment, I'm going to also have shipment, shipping mode. But let me do shipping mode first, and because this the reason why. So let me just do choose column again. And the first thing I want to do is choose column. I just want to get my shipping mode. Every other thing that goes away with it. I just want to get my shipping mode, remove duplicate from shipping mode, and then add an index column. And here I'm going to call it shipping mode ID. Shipping mode ID. Convert this type to text. And for shipment, I'm gonna do choose column, right? And for shipment, I'm gonna have choose column. I'm going to have the shipment ID here. So I won't need to create an index column now. I'm gonna have shipment status, delivery date. This no. This is already elsewhere. This is already elsewhere. Delivery time. This shipment cost. These are numeric quantitative data. I think we have shipment type. That's 3 and yeah, shipment value numeric. So we have shipment priority. So those are it. Delivery window. This is numeric. This is the ones we've done before. So I'm just going to do this. From here, of course, from my ID, I'm going to remove duplicate, and I will need to have any index column, right? So we've been able to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dimensions table, right? Okay, so now I'm going to try to create my fact table. So how do I do that? I'm going to click on my actual data, and I'm coming to merge, and I'm going to merge as new. Okay, merge as new, and I want to merge. The first thing I want to merge is, let's do this. I want to merge the carrier, and what do they have in common? Using the common table, they have carrier name. I know I'm pronouncing it as carrier, but carrier name, and yeah, I'm going to use an inner join type to return only matching rows, and then I'm going to click on OK. Now this would merge this table to the carrier table, right? And I will call this my fact table, fact logistics table. Okay, so I do this. Now I come to the end of my why this is okay. So I want to come to the end of it. I have it here already. So I'll click on this button, expand it, and I will expand. Now I don't want to use original column prefix as a name as prefix. I just want to have the carrier ID this here, and then I'll click on OK. So first table have been merged to my fact table, right? Remember I said our fact table will contain our transactional data or numeric data and foreign keys. So being the primary, this carrier ID as the primary key, the carrier dimension table is now a foreign key here. So I would click on it again, come to homes. Now instead of merging as new, I will just merge. Okay, merge queries. And the next one I want to merge is this. What they have in common, they have this in common. I'll look for it in this place. I think rating and still I want to maintain my inner join matching rows alone. Okay, so okay. Wait for it to load. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing, expand this as well. And I just want to return the ID, and then I'll do okay. And that is done. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to go. Merge query again. And then this time around, I'm merging query with we don't want to. Okay, customer satisfaction category. I'm going to merge by this as well. The common column is customer satisfaction category. That's the column they have in common. And I'm going to do inner join and okay. Do the same thing for every of the dimensions table. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for all the dimensions table and work with me. Like I said, I don't want to break any part of the report, and no, I just want to run through it as fast as possible. So yeah, this process is going to help build our data modeling, right? So we're going to be using a star schema. So let me just be talking through the old stuff while we are doing all of this. We're going to be using a star schema. Okay, so customer, we're going to have customer type, customer ID. Okay, customer type. We have customer type here as well. Where is it? Okay, yeah. This is the information, this is the column they have in common, and then I want to do only matching rows. Let me see how many minutes this video has been up. Okay, a little close to 1 hour. Yeah, so I'm just going to do the modeling, and then probably the next video we're going to start looking at DAX and our date table and any other our wireframe. But for this, let's just finish the modeling aspect of it, and I'm going to still pick this and customer ID. Okay, done. Okay, so I'm going to merge query again. So we're done for 4 customer and merge query, and this time around I'm merging query with location. Okay, and I'm going to pick the city, delivery city as the common column. Okay, this also inner join and this. Okay, I expand it again. Oh, I didn't change this column name. I may have to do this. Go back, come back here, just quickly fix that, and I'm going to rename this. Of course, we may or may not rename it, but then let's so that we don't get confused. So I'm just going to call this location ID and come back here and merge it. Okay, merge location, the location city, city, and then join. You see estimated matches based on the data to view. Okay, so you can see it under there. Okay, so I just are you lagging? But then let's okay. So this is done. Location ID, and then yes, we are done. I think we have 2 more to go. We may not be merging shipment because we already have an idea of shipment here. So 2 more to go. Okay, and that's one we're looking at payment, and of course there's just one matching the payment status, and inner join, and okay. Okay, so expand. Okay. Okay, so the last, I think this is the last one. This would be the shipping mode. Like I said, we don't have any reason to merge the shipment table with the fact table, because the reason why we are merging is so that we can have the foreign keys, the primary keys of this dimensions table as a foreign key in the fact table, right? So we can create relationship between the tables. We already have a column for shipment ID in our fact table. We just leave that there and use that as it's already established as a foreign key there. Established, yeah. Just accept that. And okay, so shipment shipping mode. I think that's basically all we need to do. Okay, so let me count just to be safe. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we have 8. But we are not done per se. So what we'll do is I want to come here and come to choose column. Remember I said our fact table would only contain our transactional or quantitative data, right? And the reason why we are doing this normalization is to be able to reduce redundancy. So if you look, it doesn't make sense that we still have all these other columns that have created, that we have used to create dimensions table, to still have them in our fact table. The fact table is not supposed to have a descriptive data. So shipment ID, start date, shipping mode, carrier name, I'm checking this, leaving this, delivery time, I'm leaving it, delivery city, country, shipment, loading, this estimated date of delivery, they're all tracking number. Okay, this payment status, shipment value needed. Okay, shipment priority, rating, numeric data, window, numeric, career performance category, I'm taking it off. Customer satisfaction category, I'm also taking it off. And yes, that's basically all that we need to do, and we are done with this. So we have our fact table and our dimensions table ready. Now, because of performance, what I will do is, for this, I'm not going to load this into, why it is here, I won't delete it, right? And I'm not going to load it. So I'll just right click and uncheck this enable load. And then I'll come here and do close and apply. Okay, so I like to load. Now if you have the settings checked for Power BI to automatically detect and create relationship between your tables, which I already have, you're going to have an established already. Immediately this load will go to the model view, and you will see the relationship has been created, and it's going to be a star schema. A star schema is that schema that have your fact table centralized, while every other dimensions table are connected to your fact table. Okay, so that's a star schema, and that's like the most popular schema that is being used when it comes to data modeling and structuring your data. So if I come to model view, I already have that checked, so I'm sure most of the relationship, all, if not all, have been created, right? So yes, they have been created. This is my star schema, but I love to arrange it it's in a star form, right? So also, but then I want to arrange it better. Okay, so I'm just going to bring my carrier mode here. I like to arrange it this way. I think it's better this way. I'm going to have I'm going to bring this here. Well, I just want to arrange it alphabetically. I don't know why I do that, but subconsciously I just find myself doing that. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. Here. Okay. Okay. We're hitting the 1 hour mark gradually, so I would probably soon end this, and we'll meet next time. Okay, I'll break this down and into smaller videos. Okay, so we have this here. We have this here. This is how I love to arrange it, and I have this here. So if you want to confirm relationship, you can check manage relationship, click manage relationship, and you see that it's a one-to-many relationship from the dimensions to your fact table. Now, the cardinality, of course, there are 3 or 4 types of cardinality: one-to-many, many-to-one, one-to-one, and many-to-many. Okay, but you can read up on that. Okay, so these have been done. You may be wondering, how then do you create if you don't have your auto detect activated, right? I'm going to do that when we create our date table. Okay, which is the next thing we are going to do. Now this is done. Okay, we have not saved our work, so I'm just going to press Ctrl S, and then I'm going to do this, try to save it, and more options, and wait for the options. No other option is not coming out. I want to save my work. Okay, let me come to file, save as, not this folder. Let me open the folder and seal up. Okay. So I'm going to save it under project, and I'm going to call it logistics project. underscore Splendor Analytics. So yeah, while at it, you want to check us on Instagram. I say Instagram, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Splendor Analytics. On LinkedIn, Splendor Analytics. Of course, you want to follow Splendor himself at I am underscore Splendor on Twitter. Splendor AGK on Splendor AGK Uchena, or AGK Uchena Splendor on LinkedIn. And I want to follow one of my colleagues, Shade of Seed on Twitter, and Sidika Lawan. Sidika is spelled SIQQ. No, sorry, SIDDIQA. And the Lawan is spelled LAWAN. Okay, you want to follow, and of course, if you want to follow me on Twitter as well. G_Toluwalashe. Toluwalashe is spelled COLUWALASE. Okay, and on LinkedIn it is Gabriel Toluwalashe. Oh, I may not be able to spell all of that, but then let's go. Now this is our view. We are done with this, and this is our data. And remember what we said we wanted to achieve. What we want to achieve is want to replicate this, right? All of this, want to replicate all of this, and this is what we are set. Our goal is to achieve. But the first thing I want to do, since I have like a date, a monthly trend and yearly trend, shipment by year, I want to create a date table, right, for flexibility, for time intelligence analysis and all of that. So I'm going to come to table view here, and I'm going to do new table. Okay, and I'm going to create a table. I'm going to call that table, I'm going to call it my date table. I'm going to call it my date. Dates. I'll just leave that date, and I'm going to use add column, and I'll be using calendar auto. Yeah, calendar auto. That's like my go-to function always. So let me adjust this. Hold your shift and enter to go to the next line. Okay, and here I want to do calendar auto, and I will do I want to do add column, allows me to do everything once. So if you see here, you are seeing table name, table, what's the name of the table which I have assigned, what's bringing the table, which is the calendar auto, right? And I'm now in the name aspect of it. What name am I giving to my column? So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to support this here. Okay. And I'm going to say equal to year. Okay. My dates table, close the bracket. I'll do a bit fast here, so you can just pause and let's just do it together. Now I want to get the quarter, right? And because it's let's just put equal to, and because it's a string, the column names are strings, so I have to put them inside inverted comma, or what they call them. I'm going to call this quarter, and I'm going to bring my dates, close comma, hold my sheet, and do this. And this I'm going to call this quarter name, and I'm going to call comma, and I'm going to say now I'm going to call the format function, and the value I want to bring it to my dates, and I'm going to do this. To get the quarter name, you're going to use the / right, and Q, and then close the quotation. This is done. I'm going to call the months. I'm going to create months column. This is very important to tell it will help a lot, right? And I'm going to do this. I'm going to call this months. I'm going to use month function. Do this. Close comma. I'm going to give it a month name. I'm going to do format as well. What value dates, and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to close comma. This will give me my month name full. So I'm going to create month name short. So instead of going through that stress again, I'll just copy this, bring it down here, and then I'm going to say month name short in case I have a need to use it, and I will use this to 3 ends, and I'm going to do day. Okay, so I'm going to say day, and I'm going to call my date as well. I'll do this, and day of the week. Okay, so let me get the day of the week. Should I write it long? Yeah, let's just write it so we understand. Personally, I may have some way of making them short, shorter use of encoding or my naming convention different, but because this is a class, let me just do this. I'm going to use weekday, and this will extract this from Monday to Sunday, or from Sunday to Monday. Power BI sees Sunday as the first day of the week. Okay, so day of the week. What other ones? Okay, we want to give it name. So I'm going to say day of the week name. All of this is long. This is still long of the week name. But then close location, and I'm going to say format and day. Okay. So this format, and then I'm going to copy this. Oh, format. Okay, so I'm going to do format, and I want 1, 2, 3, 4, and do this. I'm going to call this week day of the week name short. So this one will give me the Tuesdays in TE and all of that. So I'm going to do this EDD. Just this. Okay, so I'm going to do week of the year. I may not be using it, but then let us have it week of the year. And this. So I'm going to use week num, function week number. This will return this comma. And what I want to do is I want to write a quick if function to say I'm going to call this weekend. Let me put a question mark. Is it weekend? Just you can say it's weekend, but then let me put question mark. I understand this, and I'm going to say if, right? Oh, here I'm supposed to have a comma here. So I'm going to say if my weekday, right? If my weekday, which is my of course my date value, close the brackets. That's the first argument I'm satisfying. If it's in if it's either first day or the 7th day, that is weekday, day 1 or day 7, then I want it to be returned true. You can have anything there, right? I can say return true, else return false. I'm going to close this bracket. Now, a quick secret, right? The reason why I had to use this is to show you that when you are done writing this once, you can just copy this and keep it somewhere, right? Copy it and paste it somewhere, or just leave it there. And anytime you want to go back to it, you can just copy it and use it. Okay. So I'm going to create the date table, right? So this is my date table, and I'm going to do this mark as date. I want to make it official. Mark as date, okay, and of course dates column, and I'm going to say successful. Okay. So this is done. I'm going to come to my model, and I'm going to come to my model and bring this date here. I should have rearranged, but then, and then I'm going to connect this date to my. I'm going to connect this date to my delivery date. I have 3 dates, estimated dates. I have the delivery date. I have estimated dates, delivery dates, and what other dates? I think I have another. I think I have another date here. Okay, those are just the 2 dates that I have. So I'm going to try to do all of that. I'm going to connect them to each other. Now, for those of you that have been asking, how do you do that? I'm just going to connect my date to my delivery date. So I'm going to connect this to delivery date, date, this date, my date column to my delivery date column, and it's going to be, of course, one to many single, and I just click OK. I don't know why this is not showing here. So that's highlighted it. This is what you have found. This is what I'm connecting it to. Of course, analytics, one to many, cross directional filter, and voila. So yes, this is our date table. I'm going to press Ctrl S, and I'm going to end this particular video here and continue in the next video. Right, that's about 1 hour mark, and see you in the next video. Okay, practice this and see you in the next video.